Okay, you guys, what is up? The King of Lightning is here today to do Freezing Vibrations with a V, Episode 5 review. So, this week's episode of Freezing Vibrations, it had a lot of, in layman's term, what the fuck moments. It really did. And let me start with the first one, right? So basically, when it came to the overall episode itself, it is simple. It's basically, we focus on Satellizer and Kazuya, and basically they're in Bali right now to meet up with her father, who's there. And they were supposed to go back to Western Genetics in Japan, but they didn't. And also, there is focus on Elizabeth Mabley and why she did what she did. About the noblesse oblige. That's what it's called, pretty much. I mean, they call it the noblesse oblige. It's oblige, alright? Because, you know, the Japanese, it's not English, it's English. So, it's English, alright. But still, let me, putting in a South Park reference right there. This was the first what the fuck, okay? It was Elizabeth, no, I'm sorry. It was Satellizer apparently not being able to treat her wounds in the facility. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, wait, huh? What? No, that's bullshit. People have gotten their arms cut off, their legs cut off, and they've always gotten treated. They have holes blasted them, they've always gotten treated. If they were still alive. So her having 4 holes, no. What? No, that's bullshit. And if you're wondering, that did not happen in the manga. In this season 2 of Freezing, a lot of things that occurred in the manga are not occurring in the anime. None whatsoever. But that didn't happen in the manga. And because you're thinking, and you're sitting here, but you're like, wait a second, I've seen girls be stabbed through the gut by vault weapons. I've seen girls have half of their bodies erased by Nova and still recover. Missing all their limbs and they still recover. And you're going to tell me that 4 holes in her arms and in her legs are going to be, oh, okay, well, we can't heal you in this facility? No. That was a what the fuck. That's number 1. Number 2 in the episode is the torture of Elizabeth Mabley. Now, for this one, I had to go download the uncensored version, yeah, baby, because I wanted to see it in its entirety. Because they blacked out like mad shit, and it made me mad. I'm like, come on. Well, no, it wasn't even like blacked out. They whited out. Like straight up lens flares. Like it's goddamn Star Trek in the darkness. Just lens flares everywhere. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, what the hell? Like, no. Basically, at some point in the torture, alright, which looked excruciatingly painful. Basic. No, not basic. Simple, but painful. I mean, I think that they attached these things to her. And I think they had a current flowing through her body constantly. Either it was electrical based or it was a wave based torture. I forgot what it was exactly. But this guy, he doesn't go all the way. God thank you. I mean, granted, it was for a period of days. Like 3 days. But it was like halfway. And then it was clearly affecting her off the gate. Like the moment, like within like a few seconds into the torture, she started to cry, and then she started to drool, and you're like, fuck, oh, too much. And then she actually pisses herself, and they actually wipe that shit out. But she pisses herself, and then she's just quivering and shaking the entire time. So that was a what the fuck in like a whoa, because it looked painful, it looked excruciating. And then you see the end result. There's boogers coming out of her nose. There's mucus coming out of her nose. She's drooling. She's in and out of consciousness, and you could tell that the torture is taking a toll on her that early on. And that's the key thing. It was that early on into the torture, because of course they found out. Chevalier, they found out that yeah, they tried to leak this to the Mabley, and they did. They leaked it to the Mabley family, her father, because she felt that she was obliged to because of the whole noblesse oblige, which is basically those who are of noble standing must take it upon themselves to protect those who are weaker, those who are of inferior standing, those who have less money. And you must take it upon yourself to do so, to make sure that they are okay. But before your own health and safety and benefit, that kind of stuff. And that's where a lot of her justice stems from her father's words. And because she gave the report to her father, the Chevalier, they found out, and then they got the report. Because people who work in the Mabley family, some of them also work for the Chevalier. So the thing about that is that once they found out, it was okay, so we're going to take down the Mabley family. But they did skip like a lot of scenes, and because in the manga there were actual important scenes with the father talking and how he was going to do this for the sake of his daughter, and how his daughter is doing what she thinks is right, and blah blah blah, so on and so forth. And his company is pretty much in the, it takes a downhill. Well, no, not company. His conglomerate is taking a huge blow because Chevalier is directly attacking the Mabley family and all they own. But that was the third what the fuck. But going back to the second one, it was just that it was very, like, the torture did not seem, it seemed very excessive. It really did. It was like this guy, he was like, okay, go. And then it just, the electricity or the waves, and she's crying, and then the drool and the mucus, and you're like, oh god, no. And then her bra starts to rip, and you're like, fuck. Goddamn. And then she starts to pee, and you're like, oh my god. And she stays for a period of days. And then we see the end result. And the end result is when she finally is returned to, I think his name is, the limiter's name. Fuck, what's his name? No, Eugene is Chiffon's limiter. The partners. I forgot what, Elizabeth's limiter, I forgot what his name was. But basically, when she gets back, it's like she's not, she's done. She needs immediate bed rest. She has lost almost all of her grace. There's gonna be some definite trauma to that experience. And even in the manga, it was like he tried to touch her and she like freaked the fuck out and she was hiding in the corner and shit. So yeah, it was bad. Very bad. Now, the next thing, alright, in the episode. Satellite's on a wheelchair and she goes to Bali. And they gonna go see her family, her father, because, you know, her father, the L. Bridges. It's like, here are the Mableys, here are the L. Bridges. They're off the damn charts. They're off, you couldn't even see them, they're off the charts. Alright, again, the Mableys and Bridges. They're up there. They're like, whoa. And she wants to get her father involved. Because, you know, it's her father, and her father's going to do probably something to help her out. That's what, you know, that's what fathers do. And or that's if they're good fathers, that's what they should do to protect and help other families if they need or require something. Now, when it comes specifically to when they got there, I'm watching as her sister Bob comes down the stairs. And I'm sitting, I'm like, wait a second. This is familiar. This is familiar, but at the wrong damn time. And then they're rolling down the corridor, and then they're talking about Violet and how, you know, Kazuya is her boyfriend, and blah, blah, blah. And then in comes Luis. And then we see there's some trauma there, because we see as children he may have done something, we don't know. We see the door opens in the hand, and then the touching, and we're like, okay. And then that's where the episode ends off. Now, what's very weird about this, and this is a big what the fuck, is that that's an entirely different arc. Why are they melding arcs? Who does that? If you're wondering, this is right here. When we see Lewis in the stuff, this is at a different point in time, before they go to Alaska, after the last season of Freezing. And it's basically like, it's Kazuya and Salazar on vacation. And so they're in vacation in one of their prestigious L. Bridget estates. And she takes Kazuya along. And then they wind up running into Luis. And it's a part of the arc known as the sibling arc, which is an arc that takes place before they go to Alaska. In actuality, Stabilizer does not get her hands blown out, and then she has to go like to, you know, West Genetics. In fact, she stays there the entire time, and she's actually a part of what goes on. And she still is in a wage that now they're gonna throw in and because it's a weird time thing now. Because as she's going to speak with her father, all this stuff is going on. So what they have to do now is that they probably have to extend what's going on in Alaska for like, this takes place over a period of like days or weeks. Probably days. While she talks to her father and sells and works this all out with the Mabley family and Chevalier. So, and plus, I just don't like the fact that they're combining arcs. Like, I've never seen that. Who combines arcs? That's an entirely different arc. I mean, I know that they skipped it last season, or they didn't get to it. But good lord. So the whole thing with the fingers and the things getting blown out, them making some bullshit excuse about how she can't be healed here in this facility for some odd reason, and then her going to West Genetics, because she does actually go to Bali, I believe so in the manga. Yeah, she does. But it was like for like a day, or like not even. It was like for like a few hours. She goes there just to talk to her father personally. But this is like, oh well, you know, here comes Luis, and it's like, wait, what? Since when? So, me personally, because I'm again a reader of the manga, it just threw me the fuck off. I'm sitting, I'm like, no, you don't. No, you don't, girl. What you doing? Like, no, like seriously. So. The episode rating overall. I mean, truth be told, the animation, it was good. Even though the main things animation-wise were just simply, you know, Elizabeth diving into the water, and then we have her limiter trying to get through the doors, and then these two Chevalier Pandoras. Well, I forget. Well, what rank are they? Well, they're beyond the school setting of the Pandora, but it's just that they actually work for like Chevalier like themselves. And they were gonna try and take this guy out, and then they did some. They were gonna, I think, have their full weapons activated, but it was cool the way it was animated. Of course, the torture scene, even though it was like, it was painful, still well animated. So the animation overall was pretty good animation. The pacing of the story was also pretty good because they did spend quite a bit of time here when it came to Elizabeth. At the same time, they spent they spent far less time with Stabilizer. But her stuff was far less important than what was going on with Elizabeth. Duh. But what I will say is that they didn't even touch upon the Mableys and when they received the information. That I think was actually very important, but they didn't touch upon that at all. But when it came to the overall story progression, I'm just confused. I'm just confused because I'm sitting here, I'm like, they're combining arcs, and I'm just like, wait, what? So I don't know when it comes to story progression, I don't know what to do. I'll be honest, I just don't know what to do, because I'm like, they did get somewhere. They did get somewhere when it came to the actual Alaska arc. That's very obvious. But we completely backpedal, and we're now in the middle of the sibling arc. It's weird. It's weird. So I don't know what to do with story progression. I just don't. Now I'm just confused. So, I mean, the episode rating, I think I'll give it an okay. I'll leave it. I'll cut myself some slack. I'll give it an okay. But I'm just very confused. So hopefully they don't spend too much time. I mean, even though they really should, because it was Luis, and then it was like whoa moments, because it was like, my God, like this stuff would occur, like this having a satellite, my God. But still, it's like they're in the middle of the Alaska arc, so it's like at least you could have like made half the season the sibling arc, and then, or at least 5 episodes the sibling arc, and then the rest Alaska. But you're throwing in the sibling arc in the middle of Alaska. I'm just confused now. So I'm done. King Lightning, the rating overall is okay, and I'll leave it at that. King Lightning, be sure to, of course, rate, comment, and subscribe as always. Peace. Have a nice day.